Coaches Show. I'm your host, voice of the Broncos, Kerry Shuck, alongside the head coach of the now playoff-bound Mustang Broncos, Lee Blankenship. Coach, how are you?
Great, man. Great to be back with you this week. It's always more fun after a win, to come and sit down and talk about the game. So.
And then the week before, after a tough loss, and still go up in rankings. So that was still a good week.
That was something else.
And so this week, another tough game on the road. Putnam City North, just kind of a juggernaut. And you beat them 37-34 on the road. Talk about the game a little bit.
Yeah, great game. Was thrilled. First of all, just very excited, thrilled for our kids, man, to have a chance to win that ball game, and just the resiliency that they showed. We were down at halftime, and I think we were down. We scored right before, so I think we were down 4 points, if I remember right. And just kids came out in the second half and played so well. That was a good football team that we played against. Their quarterback was one of the best we've seen all year, and threw it well. He ran the ball well as well, and our kids just stiffened up their necks and made the plays when we had to win the ball game. So really excited for them.
Well, really good on especially on the offensive side of the ball to get 37 points, but then, like you had said, we had talked about last week, a dual threat quarterback can be tough to defend against. And, home to 34 points, 3 turnovers in the game, 2 fumbles lost, and an interception. Talk about the defense a little bit.
Defense played lights out all night long. We had so many kids step up and make big time plays on that side. And they hit some on us, and again, I every week go back to the same thing. You can tell that we really stress because it's just play the next play. Yeah. And even though we're down at halftime, our kids never flinched. They just came out and continued to do their very best and give their best effort at doing their 111th, and that ended up being the difference for us. So defense played extremely well. Coach Dollar really he got a lot more aggressive in the second half and started bringing a lot of pressure. It's always a gamble to bring pressure and to blitz a quarterback that's as mobile as theirs was. Mm-hmm. And he squirted through there and hit us on some, but we got to him more than he hurt us, and kind of hurried him and let our secondary have a good opportunity to cover those very skilled players. Those receivers are there. So again, great game plan by our defensive staff, great execution by our kids. I'm really excited for them.
Well, especially Hayden Conrad goes 17-20 with 196 and a touchdown. I mean, that's just a great way to manage the game if you're only going to miss 3 passes, basically.
Because of the defense that Putnam City North runs, we knew that we were going to have to be able to throw the football effectively to win the game. They really, as part of their scheme, they really try to load the box. They run that 3-3 stack defense, which changes some angles for your offensive linemen and some blocking angles and even assignments at times. So we knew that we were going to have to make some plays in the pass game, and I'd be interested to see. I should have that information with me today, but I know that Hayden threw to a lot of different targets, really opened up our passing attack, and had big time completions to a lot of players. The one that I go back to is, and I thought it was just a turning point for us. It was a 4th and 10. And we were on about the 40-yard line going in, and it was one of those: do we punt or do we try to go for it? And we just, Coach McDaniel on the offensive side, we just really believe that throughout the course of the week that we should be aggressive in our play calling. So we go for it on 4th and 10, and Hayden rolls out there and finds Tristan Plumley on a comeback route right there on our sideline and throws it right there at the chains. Plumley makes a great catch, has his foot in bounds, and we get the first down, and that led to a score. So that was kind of a one that just stuck out to me. It wasn't the touchdown throw. That was a big one to McFadden. I do remember that. Our defense forced a turnover. We come right out, decide to be aggressive and just try to steal the rest of the enthusiasm that that their crowd had. Just try to take that and put that into our side. Our crowd was so phenomenal that night. But that was a good one as well. McFadden ran a little stutter and go, and Hayden hit him over the top. And then McFadden Jordan made a great move, made a guy miss, and got in the end zone. So we threw the ball really effectively. He did have the interception. It's just his 3rd interception of the year, and that was actually off of a tip ball. football. So it hit our guy in the hands, and the ball tipped up to that defender that was behind him. So Hayden has really had a phenomenal season. When we needed him to step up, most weeks I tell him, hey, you don't have to win the game for us. Just don't lose it. Don't take sacks. Don't throw interceptions. And he's done such a great job of that. This week was, hey, listen, now it's time. We're going to need you to go win this game for us. And man, he did. And what an awesome feeling, I'm sure, for him and story for us. And got us into the playoffs. So really thrilled for Hayden Conrad.
Well, when you say that he's only had 3 interceptions on the year and one's the tip ball, I can think of one just right off the top of my head was late in the game. I think it was Norman North. We're trying to come back, so he's throwing up the field, and it's just one of those plays where you're trying to make something happen. So it kind of turns out to be like a punt.
Yeah.
Initially.
Well,
that's not even real.
That's exactly right. The other 2 interceptions that he's had this year were both. They were at the end of 2 of our losses when he's just trying to throw the football. Yeah. It's the last possession, our last offensive drive was seconds left on the clock of our 2 losses. He's trying to throw the ball up and just try to throw up a prayer, make a play when everybody in the place knows we're passing, and just throwing into coverage, which is all we can do in that moment. So he has really had an exceptional year in just taking care of the football. It's very impressive.
Yeah, it's just super efficient when you think of it like that. I wanted to ask you this before. I do want to talk about the rushing game because it excelled again, but it seems like a lot of teams are going for it on 4th down, whether they're at a certain spot on the field. It seems like there's a new coaching strategy of thinking like we're losing a play when we punt, unless you're on you're next to your end zone or something like that. Is that kind of a new strategy that's going around that you might lose a down or something?
I think it's just kind of the flow of the game, and I think that with the fast pace, with the no huddle offenses that have become so popular, and we definitely are in that. We try to get up and snap the ball pretty quick. I think it's maybe just more of a confidence in our guys, or at least that's what it is for me. And then just kind of the flow of the game. We felt like we were moving the ball and actually had a penalty that got us to that situation where it was 4th and 10 instead of 4th and 5, and just decided to trust our guys and go ahead and go for it anyways, and it worked out for us. So we don't always do that, but that's I think it's just kind of the flow of the game and how you're feeling and the situation and just trying to gauge the temperature of the opponent and the situation you're in on the field. So worked out for us that time.
And most times I think, and I see it more in the college game as some coaches are like, well, it's 4th down, we're going for it no matter what. But it can also, you get a defense, stop someone on a 3rd down, so they're at their highest point right there because they're going to punt, and then all of a sudden it's not a punt, so things can be discombobulated a little bit.
I'll tell you this, when I got on the headset and I asked Coach Dollar, I said, Coach, we're thinking about going for it right here. What do you think? He said, do it, go get it. Yeah. And that is just, again, that even gives you more confidence as at the end of the day, it's on me to make that decision and that call. Always check with Coach McDaniel. What do you think? Can we get it? Coach Dollar, what do you think about field position if we don't? And when both of those guys say, Coach, let's go, then that gives you a lot of confidence as a coach. And it just shows you Coach Dollar's confidence in his kids and on the defensive side. Coach, give them the ball right there, we'll stop them anyways. So that's big time for us, and it gives you a lot of confidence in going for it when both of your coordinators are saying, let's do it.
Especially defensively. They played so good this year. So 46 rush attempts, 212 yards, another game over 200 yards rushing. Just it seems just like a juggernaut that you guys have on the rushing. Especially, I always like to get out there because a lot of people forget them. That offensive line has played well all year.
I had another phenomenal game this week. We ran the football against sometimes a 7, even 8-man box, and for our guys to be able to get that kind of push and it shows just the will, the determination, the strength of our guys up front, of our offensive line, and also just the heart of our running backs. We told them all week, as we prepared for the game, it's going to look like this, Harvey. It's going to look like this, Kari. It's going to look like this, Devin. You're going to get 2 yards, 4 yards, 3 yards, 60. And that's really how it went. They just kept on putting their head down and running through there, and eventually we popped a few, and they were big plays for us. So a ton of credit to our offensive line. Those guys have gotten better every single week. It's something we preach and we try to teach and we stress to our kids, just get a little bit better this week. Let's get 10% better this week, and we're going to go try to do that again this week.
Yeah, another big game coming up. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the. You'd already talked about some of the big plays. Let's talk about some outstanding athletes that kind of stuck out from the North game. I know defensively we're going to have some that you're going to say. Offensively, we were talking about Hayden Conrad. What were some other outstanding athletes that stood out?
Yeah, well, I thought Corian Hayden had a great game on the defensive side. He's an outstanding defensive end for us. Corian had a ton of quarterback hurries. He got back there and got his hands on that quarterback and brought him down a few times and really just put a lot of pressure on them. Corian's so athletic coming off the edge, and he'll go inside or outside, and Coach Dollar does a great job of fitting our scheme to be a perfect complement to Corian's athleticism. So was really excited for him. I thought, we had a player on our team, Colt Humphrey. He lost his grandfather. His grandfather passed away last week, and so Colt was gone from practice for a couple of days to be there with his family and southeastern Oklahoma for his grandfather's funeral. So he didn't start the game. He ended up coming in and just playing an incredible game, and a lot of times that happens. I know he was playing to honor his grandfather, but Colt came in and actually impacted the game on both sides of the ball. We go for it on fourth down and goal from the 6, and Colt we just trusted his legs. He's a strong, tough kid. We put him in kind of in that wildcat quarterback position, especially sometimes in short yardage, and he took the snap and took it in and scored the touchdown for us, and then he played well on the defensive side of the ball as well. Kel White started the game for Colt, who's a sophomore. We talked about Kel a little bit earlier in the year. He played a great game against Southmore and got some minutes there when another one of our linebackers, Braden Jarman, went out of the game, and so Kel did a really good job for us, and really anchored that defense and made some plays until Colt got in there, and it was kind of nice to have Colt coming in fresh there on the defensive side. He played so well. I thought Kari had another great night on the offensive side. We already talked about our offensive line. All of our receivers stepped up and had some big time catches. Will Haddix made a big catch. The play call, we rolled out there and we're trying to target Will, and it wasn't open, so Will turned it up and kind of got into a scramble drill type of situation, and Hayden found him over the top for a big one, which set up a touchdown. We talked about McFadden's big touchdown catch. Chris Duran had some key catches, and honestly, Chris Duran, when you look at what he does when the ball's not in his hands, when we're running the football, ball's running around to his side, he is an incredible blocker on the edge for us. So does a great job out on the perimeter. Made a few key blocks when our backs were running down the field, and helped us go ahead and get in the end zone a couple of times in the rushing game as well. So all of our kids are playing at a high level right now. It's exactly what you want as a coach, especially in your first year, for your team to kind of be playing its best football, towards the back end of the season. So we're excited about the future.
One thing I had always seen as I was a voice of the Broncos coming back 3 years ago, Liam Kravonic was a sophomore then, and I thought, wow, this kid's doing really good as a sophomore, and then now we're looking at him as a senior, but then you've got all these other sophomores that are stepping up and ready to play. Kel White, you mentioned some of the others.
Absolutely. So Liam has had an unbelievable season to start with, and I should have mentioned him and those players that had a great game, because he did have another phenomenal game. And when you have a big win like that, you need everyone on our team played well. But no, we're really excited about some of the sophomores that are being major contributors on our team right now, and some guys that come to mind. Christian Rowland is having a great season. He's getting some valuable minutes on the defensive line. Karsten Keene at corner has started every game we've played this year so far. There's actually another young man who's a freshman, which you don't talk about freshmen being key players in 6A1 football very often. But Jacoby Johnson has come in, and we moved him up right there at the beginning of the season, and Jacoby had some huge tackles on Friday night, and did a great job in coverage in the secondary. He plays at that corner position as well. So we've got a lot. There's others that I'm not mentioning, but we've got a lot of young kids that have just continuously gotten better as the season has gone on and progressed, and it's exactly what we want. That is a huge credit to our coaching staff, man. I feel like we have maybe the best coaching staff in 6A in Oklahoma high school football, and I can say that just to brag about the guys on our staff and the job that they do. They love our kids. They have our kids ready to play every week, and it's really evident when you look at our JV games, and then even just some of the young guys that are progressively getting more and more opportunities as the season has gone on, and how they're getting better each week really says a lot to our coaching staff and our position coaches that we have coaching those guys.
I'll tell you what, I've said Jacoby's name about 25 times this year, and I never looked to see what grade he was in. I really don't ever do that.
Right.
I just want to, but I would never have guessed he was a freshman, the way he plays.
He's a stud, man, and he has got a bright future for us, and you can look to call his name a lot more over the next several years, and probably see him more than just at corner as the years go on. He's a guy that in the future is definitely going to need to have the ball in his hands in plenty of ways. He actually has started as a return man as well for us the last several weeks, and has had some great returns. When they kick it to him, he's got a lot of speed and just a ton of athleticism. So we're really excited about him. Look forward to seeing him progress over the course of his career. And I'll tell you what, that's a freshman that we moved up, but there's about 10 or 12 more freshmen in that freshman class that are going to be something else in the future. And when we start talking about sophomores on the field, don't be surprised if there's a lot more names coming next year of guys that are going to be contributors for us as the season goes on. We're excited about our young classes, man. It's a good time to be a Mustang Bronco.
I know several of the dads that have kids in the freshmen, and I think, like, man, those kids are good now.
Yeah.
I mean, they're only going to get better as they get into high school.
No question. They are. I promise you that they're going to get better. They're going to get developed. Our coaches work so hard at just teaching the fundamentals and the little things to our kids. That's one of our core values: discipline in the details. If we're faithful with a little, then we can be trusted with a lot. And our kids are buying into that, and we're seeing just kind of the fruit of that, and just those seeds that were planted, and as we're starting to kind of see the harvest from that as the season has gone on. So we're excited about our young groups and look forward to continue developing those guys as well.
Well, congratulations on the win. We're going to go ahead and take our first break. This week in sports here at Mustang, we're going to talk about some stuff that's going on around. When we come back, we're going to talk about the next game against Moore, final game of the season. All right, we'll see you after the break.
Hey Oklahoma, it's barbecue time, and Swadley's is now serving world-famous steaks. Come on by and see us today or order online at swadleys.com. We're Swadley's world-famous barbecue, where faith and families come together.
Get low prices every day at Smickless Chevrolet. If you wanna rock a Chevy, got 500 new and used, like Camaro, Silverado, Chevy, Malibu, and Cruise. Bad credit, you can still buy. 50 lenders standing by. Hit up that Smickless Chevy app and search right from your phone, or head to Northwest Expressway and County Line Road. Get low prices every day at Smickless Chevrolet. SmicklessChevrolet.com.
Hey Mustang, I'm Jamie.
And I'm Ashlyn. Welcome to This Week in Sports. Mustang Swim is almost underway. Here's a quick look at what the team has been up to.
Hey guys, I'm Jaron. I'm here with Zoe from the swim team. Now Zoe, what goes into preparation for your swim meets?
We just practice our events we're going to swim.
Okay. What can we expect from the team this season?
To do good and win our events.
I like that answer. What do you think the team as a whole is best at? Like what event?
Probably breaststroke.
Breaststroke, all right. And what's one meet, if any, that you're looking forward to and why?
All of them, just because they're fun.
I like it. I like it. This is Jaron Taylor back.
This weekend, our cross-country teams competed for the state title at Edmond Santa Fe. Both teams had a great meet and finished 4th overall. Gabe Simonson defeated his state championship from a year ago and cruised to 6A cross-country state championship. Congratulations to our first state champion of the year.
Saturday night, the cheer team competed in their first ever game day state competition and finished as a 6A state runner-up. Way to go, girls!
Saturday afternoon, the Special Olympics basketball team won 1st and 2nd in area basketball tournament. The senior team won 2nd and the master team won 1st. Great job, guys! The basketball team is also about to start up their season. Let's take a look at what the women's varsity coach, Catherine Bass, has to say.
Hi, I'm Ashton, and I'm here with Coach Bass. How do you feel about your first preseason at Mustang?
Probably the best I've felt in a long time. This group of girls work really, really hard. They're great kids, but they bought in, and we've been working on defense probably majority of preseason, and it's really excelled us. And we're just excited to start our scrimmages tomorrow to see how it works.
How do you feel about the season this year?
Well, we have a good group of seniors that now have been to state, I think, 3 years in a row now. And our goal this year is to win state. We don't have any other thing but that. And I have a lot of girls with a lot of talent. I got some young girls that are stepping in. I got 2 freshmen that are going to do great things for us. We're just excited. Our goal is really high, but we're going to take one game at a time.
And is there any players to look out for this season?
Well, the good thing about this group is that, again, we have a good bench. So we have more than just 5. But, you know, Jackie Rollins, who was COAC Freshman of the Year, is back. Talia Pogai, great shooter from the 3 and a great defender. We have 2 freshmen. Jordan Rollins, which is Jackie Rollins' sister, 6'2" guard, is going to come in and do great things for us. And then London Foreman, her sister graduated last year. She's a great shooter as well. I have 2 post-player seniors that have really stepped in and stepped up, and 1'6" and 1'6" So our starting lineup is 5'7" and taller. So we have a great advantage going into season with just our height, but also our athletic ability.
All right, thank you. And I'm Ashton again, and I'll see you next time.
The wrestling team kicked off the season with 7 champions at the Edmond North Open on Saturday. Shelton Chastain, Tucker Owens, Keegan Luton, John Wiley, Tate Piccolo, Brennigan Reyes, and Jack Kitchingham. Exciting things to come to our wrestling team this season.
This year, our Lady Broncos volleyball team was outstanding. Madison Hayek stood up above the rest and was named to the largest all-state volleyball team.
Hey guys, I'm here with Maddie Hayek. How does it feel to make it to All-State?
It feels great knowing all my effort and all the time I put my work in. It just feels great, and I achieved all my goals this season. So,
Is there anybody you'd like to thank?
I thank my dad and all the coaches and all my family that supported me throughout this whole season. So,
There you have it. I'm here with Maddie Hayek. Back to you.
Friday night, the football team took on the Putnam City North Panthers. The Broncos won 37-34 and are now heading to playoffs. Congrats, boys. Andre Dollar is our player of the week. Here's a look at this week's interview.
The Broncos had a away game this past week as they took on the Putnam City North Panthers at the new Panther Stadium. The Panthers are coming off a tough loss against Moore. Mustang is coming off a 14-point loss at home against Owasso. The Broncos came out hot as they scored the first 10 points of the game, but it didn't take long for the Panthers to get back in the game as they scored 20 unanswered points. The Broncos scored a touchdown right before half to cut the lead 20-16. The Panthers senior quarterback Aaron Norman had a game to remember as he scored 2 rushing touchdowns in his last high school game of his career. Kari Brown had another 2 rushing touchdown game as the Broncos spoiled the Panthers senior night as they won 37-34. The Broncos moved to 6-3 and 4-2 in district play. The Panthers moved to 6-3 and 3-3 in district play. With the win, the Broncos clinched a playoff spot for the first time since 2017. The Broncos play at Moore to finish the season. With a win, the Broncos can clinch a first-round home playoff.
Here with our player of the week, Andre Dollar. How does it feel to know that you're the outstanding player this week?
It's just an honor to know that my hard work has paid off this season.
And what training have you gone through to get here?
just the countless hours in the weight room and working hard, training hard on the practice field, making sure everything's right.
And who's your biggest supporter?
My biggest supporter is my dad, because without him, I wouldn't be here today, and he's helped me through so much in accomplishing my goals.
And I'm Ashlyn Stewart. Back to you, Twist.
Once again, I'm Ashlyn.
And I'm Jamie.
And
we'll see you next time on This Week in Sports.
Welcome back to the Mustang Coaches Show. Kerry Shuck with the head coach of the Mustang Broncos, Lee Blankenship. Coach, again, congratulations on a playoff run, your first year. So now we're in the playoffs, but a little bit bigger going on for Friday night because it's our final game against Moore. You win that game, and you're going to host the first round.
That's right. So it's really exciting for us and our kids. Obviously, we made the playoffs and we solidified a spot in the playoffs by winning last week. But to be going into Week 10 and playing for a home field playoff advantage is just awesome, man. I honestly didn't know what to expect coming in, and if you'd have told me that we'd be in this situation back in January when they hired me, I would have been ecstatic. So we're excited about the opportunity. If we win on Friday, we'll finish second in the district behind Owasso, and then we will host our first round playoff game. So pretty exciting. We're trying not to focus, just like always, trying not to focus on those things. We can't control those things. We can control how hard we practice today and tomorrow and leading up into the course of the week, and then how well we perform and do our job on every play of the game. And again, it's those little details, those little things that turn into big things. And if we do the little things right, then the big things will take care of themselves.
I don't know if Chris Tobler had told you this, but I've been telling him I felt like I was kind of a curse because 3 years ago I was hired and didn't make the playoffs, and then so I didn't want to say anything, going into it. But now that the playoffs are here, I can finally.
There you go. The monkey's off your back, man. Good.
Finally. So, but it is a great thing to have that you have this opportunity. That it's good that you're going into it because a game that you want to win, you want to have your team be the best they are at the end of the year. But all these things that can happen after the game, getting the victory.
Yeah.
Those are great opportunities to have.
Absolutely. Again, just excited for our kids, man. It's a special time. So thrilled for our seniors. Thankful for their buy-in and how hard that they've worked. And really, my goal for this year, just being my first season here with a new staff, was just to try to set a foundation for our future. And I really believe that we are doing that, and that's going to be a strong foundation. And we've got our seniors to thank for that. And I think that they'll be able to look back for a long time and say, man, I was a part of that and a part of starting something special here in Mustang. So we're excited for them.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Just being up in the booth and being able to say their name for the last 3 years and just seeing how they've grown on the field. I don't know them well, but just to see it, I'm glad that they have this opportunity to get there.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about Moore. Still a good team. They play Owasso last week and get beat by Owasso. But what do you see from Moore that you'll have to look at offensively and defensively?
Yeah, so the first thing that pops out at you when you look at Moore is just their quarterback. Number 2, he's a national recruit. Definitely going to watch him play on Saturdays in the future. Very big, strong, very athletic, talented quarterback. He runs the ball so well. They also play him on the defensive side. So he's just one of those special types of kids that you can't take off the field, and we've got to know where he is in every phase of the game, and he can beat you in any of the 3 phases. So it's going to be important for us to know where he's at, and hopefully to be able to wrap him up, and we get our hands on him to bring him down to the ground and just continue to play. He's going to make some plays on us. We know that, and our message to our kids is the same as always. Just play the next play, have a great attitude, have a great effort, do your 1/11th, and we'll see what happens at the end.
And offensively, is there anything that how good are they defensively? What kind of schemes do they run that you're looking at?
So they're very sound on the defensive side of the ball. They're talented. I mean, they're one of the top teams in 6A this year as well. They beat Putnam City North by a few touchdowns a couple of weeks ago. So that kind of gives you a gauge. It should be a great game. Defensively, they're aggressive. They're very talented. They're very athletic in the back end. But it looks like it's another group that's geared to stop the run, make you try to beat them throwing the football. So we're going to need our offensive skill players to have another great week.
All right, Coach. Well, we're going to head out. We're going to be there Friday because we're going to get everybody out 7 o'clock against the Moore Lions. Now, Coach, anything going on this week? I think Wednesday we got Mazzio's again.
Got the Mazzio's Pizza show again, Coach's show there. That's been an awesome new tradition that we started this year. You'll see a lot of the players and the parents of our players there and just kind of fellowship together. They have the buffet on Wednesday nights, which is awesome. I thoroughly enjoy that. So I know a lot of our kids do as well. And then they have the show playing over the loudspeaker so you can eat and visit and then listen to me and Ryan Booth talk about our players and get to brag on our kids. So it's a fun time. Would love to invite everybody out to that, and especially would love to invite everyone out on Friday night as we take on Moore. Our crowd was just unbelievable on Friday night. Really, our word of the week was enthusiasm, and our crowd brought so much enthusiasm and really felt like that was a big factor in helping to push us to that win. So would love to see another big crowd on Friday night. And look forward to seeing everyone there and cheer us on. Be loud, be proud as we take on the Moore Lions.
Well, I don't think anybody can really understand the grasp of how you can change a game if you're a fan. It's a short drive. Get out to Moore and just scatter that whole crowd with Mustang fans and just kind of take out the home crowd a little bit.
Bring some shakers, be loud, be noisy, especially when that dollar defense is on the field.
Exactly. Well, Coach, thanks a lot. Congratulations again. We're going to be back next week to talk about the game with Moore and then about the first round of the playoffs. So
sounds good. See you next week.
All right, we'll see you then. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. We'll see you next week and talk about the game against Moore and about the playoffs. And, Coach, we'll see you next week.
Go Broncos.